What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be doing some updates on the Supra, but before we get into it, I want to say a big thank you to every single one of you that have subscribed, hit that thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and have commented in this section down below. And from now on, what we're going to be doing is each video moving forward, we'll take a comment from the previous video and feature it. Today we're going to actually feature Howard's comment where he said everything needs a V8. I totally agree. He recently saw a Harley Davidson with one that was squeezed into it and he thought it was wicked, and I agree. People that do that are insane in the best way possible, and I gotta say, more power to those guys. They are brave. So one of the big things that we had going on with this car was, unfortunately, for the past few years, it was outside. Before that, I've owned this, I'm the second owner of this car, and up until a few years ago, it was completely untouched by rodents. And boy, they moved in. I had to pull the entire interior out, scrub everything. This side was disgusting, but fortunately they didn't cause any damage to it. Now it has a little bit of rust. There's a small little tiny rust spot underneath the in the floor pan over there. Nothing terrible, easy repair, but other than that, it's been pretty much left alone by that, except for right here. So they are known to rot out here. And this car, even though it's a very clean example as far as rust, is no exemption of that rule. Now, we'll go ahead and do the repair in this section when we go and modify this area to fit a battery. Now, we're not going to be able to fit a spare in here anymore, but eventually I'd like to move the fuse box here. The battery will be here, and as you can see, it runs through here. This is actually from our buddy Rich, hooked us up with it from a Saturn Ion. So a little bit of GM inside here in a few spots, but we're going to be putting it in the center so that we don't have to have one on either side. We can just put it right there because, yeah, balance. We ran the actual line right here, and eventually it will be fastened right there so it doesn't rattle around or anything, but we ran the line underneath the stock wiring harness. Goes right through here, follows this right here, and goes through there. Now, it continues through the firewall in the OEM location for our wiring harness. Now, we do need to, just for now, just kind of package these up because we're not going to use any of those. But again, I don't want to do anything too evasive to this quite yet, so turn the flashlight on, and you can kind of see, we can get in here, where we're coming through the grommet right there. So that is a watertight, rodent-tight vapor barrier, perfect, just like OEM. And you can see it runs up through here, follows the OEM path of the wiring harness. I don't know if that was, I think it just bumped you guys against the car, but it goes through into the engine bay there. Once it goes in here, that's not where the GM ends. We have a piece out of a LS engine, or off of an LS engine, where eventually this will meet up to this and we'll be able to power the car off of it. Now, I've pretty much stripped the engine bay of everything unnecessary. Did quite a bit of scrubbing to get all the old grease and everything off the inner fenders and stuff like that. We still have to clean off of the lower K-frame, but you know, baby steps. This, of course, has been switched over, and I did a video switching this over to non-ABS, so we can delete that. The air condition is going to be deleted for now. I'm going to get a cap to cover those up that shrink wraps around it, and eventually we will replace the air conditioning unit here and all of the parts in the front. But for now, it's a Target top. We really don't need AC. We just go faster, right? That's how you get AC. Just go faster. Now, if this was a vent window car, I would say we don't ever need AC because the vent window cars are awesome. That 63 Caddy, no air conditioning, 95-degree day, doesn't matter. Drives, blows the air right in, nice and comfy. So, this has all been cleaned up, and we have a few things that we need to do yet. We need a custom line from the pressurized side of the power steering, and I would like to cap off these because no ABS, those sensors don't need to be in there anymore. So I really wanted to clean this up quite a bit. Now, one of the things you may run into doing a 1UZ swap inside of an MK3 A70 Supra is the brake booster. You might have to get a Hilux or a Toyota truck booster. It's a little bit more narrow, a little bit longer, but unfortunately you may run into it hitting your valve covers. Some people say you need it, some people you don't. So I guess we'll wait and see. It might be a difference between the variable valve timing and the non-variable valve timing. So a lot of things have been put back on, including our cowl shroud piece there. I had kept that off for all these years that it's been outside so that I can easily clean out any type of debris that's gotten underneath there. I didn't want it to start rotting while it was out here. So if you're going to be leaving something outside like this, either find a way of preventing crap from getting inside there sitting with moisture, because it will rot through. I just happen to have the ability of taking the shroud off, and that's problem solved. That's pretty much all we have. Now we are going to run a tower strut brace once the engine's in here, but for now we're not. We should actually be able to use our fuel lines just with a few modifications. The pressurized side actually has a spot where it is broken in between, not broken, but the connection is broken in between, so we just have to make the connection from there up to here. We don't have to replace the entire line. That's solved. Obviously ABS is gone, cleaned up quite a bit. Now for a car that sat outside before I bought it for about 12 years in the parking lot without salt, the sun baked the paint off, and yeah, it looks pretty rough. But like my buddy was here the other day and he was pretty upset because this thing is 90% better than his, because all of the actual pieces inside here are really immaculate. So even the paint is rough, yeah, the meat and potatoes of this vehicle is very, very solid. Now, onto the 1UZ and the modifications. One, I pulled you're gonna need a set of really tight hugging manifolds, or headers. In our case, we're using headers. These are PPE ones. They came with the car I'm using as the donor, so I probably would have gone for something else because of how expensive these are. They are in the realm of $1,300, and I didn't like the bracket that sat on it. The flange is freaking huge, so I just chopped that off. We're going to go ahead and weld a different bracket on that. Hopefully we'll do that this week. Over here we have taken off, we have to still put a clamp on this one and this one, but we'll go through all the things you should do to get rid of Uncle Sam's meddling to your engine. So first, obviously we deleted the AC, so for now we'll eventually put it back on there, but for now, no AC. There is this being out of a SC400, you have a hydraulic pump here for your fan. If you do not do anything about this and you just kind of use it as an idler, it will seize up on you. 100% will seize up on you. And the reason why it will is because this is completely detached from the engine other than a few bolts. There doesn't share any oil or hydraulic fluid from anything but the fan that it was on it. This guy right here, it will seize up. It will you'll burn through your belts. It'll be terrible. Fortunately, if you just take it off, you can block it off if you want to. You make a little plate, put it on there, bolt it on there, never worry about it. You have plenty of room, just take it off. Yeah. Now, if you're gonna run your AC, there's a few things you can do. So what I would recommend is you can get the LS400 clutch fan bracket and then just get the pulley on there as well. Or if you're pulling this out of an LS400, you don't have to worry about it. Unfortunately, that $100 part is the least of your concern, because your oil pan, which I have two of them for the SC400s, are totally different and they will not clear your lower cross member. So I would start off with an SC400 1UZ, strip this if you want your AC, and replace it with an LS400 bracket. That will be your best bet. Now, 200,000 miles, both the 1UZs I've messed with in the past 4 years. This is a swap I've wanted to do for about 5 years. But about 5 years ago, I bought the first engine for this, and both these bearings were shot. Go down, press them out, put the new ones in. A lot less expensive than trying to fight them. I did go with the Japanese replacement bearings because I prefer them. I grabbed a Chinese bearing, and you can actually feel the play with the bearings going back and forth, so I figured that's probably not the highest height of tolerances. So Japanese bearing, they're better than German bearings. Yeah, anyways, boom. Other than that, this belt right here is the belt you're going to need to delete those things. It will hold perfectly aligned to where you need to be, almost exactly too, which is insane. And I know, I just set it down. Where did I set it down? Here it is. A lot of people are going to be asking, what belt did I use here? Well, just to make it easier on you guys, I had it shipped into Posting Pro Auto. There you go. It is a K060605. So this is the belt I used. Get the glare off of it. If you're doing the same swap and you're wondering what belt you're going to need, that is the appropriate belt for this. And cut like almost about a foot and a half worth of it out of there. Crazy. Do not bypass your coolant from here. The reason why I say don't do that is because if you take that out, this is your inlet. Normally your outlet would be where your thermostat is, but I don't know why I couldn't think about that. If you pull this out, your water will just go straight into your engine. There's a bypass already here, and it'll go to your water pump, which is actually driven by your timing chain. This is just an idler. This doesn't do anything. It goes down to your water pump and then will go straight out. So you'll effectively make it so you have unlimited water going in and out right around. Not a good time. So do not delete your thermostat. Go with a cooler thermostat, fine. But don't delete it. You're going to end up having a lot of overheating problems. Now, we capped off our outlet for our water here and our water here. Make sure you have that nice and tight. Don't want it to leak. Up here, we're deleting this because we're waiting for the plates. I put a big order on parts, and unfortunately something was back ordered, and so hopefully we see these parts this week, because currently as it stands I can only work on cars every other week right now. So hopefully it gets here in time, because I kind of planned on my week doing the swap. But if not, it'll be another 2 weeks. So yeah, block off plate, get rid of your wonderful EGR valve. You will end up having, there's different ways you can do it with the Japanese one. You can do it with the billet one. The 6061 aluminum one that I ordered actually has an outlet, so we can still use our PCV. You don't really need it if you're like drag racing, or if you're really putting this engine through its paces. But if you're going to be running it on the road, it does help evacuate the fumes around your pistons. So if you want your rings to love you, always replace your PCV. That one's coming from Rock Auto. It should be here Monday. The grommet as well, because that thing is harder than diamond. So we'll delete this, or we won't delete this. We'll replace this, put a new line. The billet one I have actually has a contingency to screw in a place so that can collect that. And other than that, our cold start, that's deleted. You do need vacuum pressure to your fuel regulator. That is an absolute must. Thursday, we have a non-traction control intake manifold coming. I thought for some reason I had one, but apparently not. So that will be here Thursday. It was out of a 1991 LS400. So we have the new gasket, new throttle body. The reason why is because the traction control one does actually have some provisions that reduces your airflow into your engine. So if you're trying to maximize it, you can either do quite a bit of modification, and there is a great website or a great YouTube channel. I'll put a little link here somewhere where you can figure out how he does it. I prefer to just go with the non-traction control one. It was $60 plus, it was like $80 shipped. So boom, gone. Deleting your coolant that was part of your cold start, which came through here. It actually heated up your throttle body. I don't like preheating air as it goes into your engine, so obviously that's deleted. When we get the non-traction control one, we'll also delete that off of it, just shave it off, because my goal is to shave as much weight off of these as possible, with some caveats. I still want it to look fairly stock. I need to get the Toyota emblem for this. So if anyone know where I can get a Toyota emblem that would stick right there, please let me know. It's this very specific one. It's for the 1UZ. It's I don't know if it's only in the like European regions, Australia, New Zealand, and Japan, but I want that right there. over through here, this isn't getting deleted. That goes part of your throttle body. Some of this is getting deleted. Eventually we'll have a custom made wiring harness, but for now I'm trying to get this thing before, or in the car, ready to rock and roll before the snow starts to fall down. I'm not deleting our heating hoses because I did that before with this car right here, and I was driving the very first weekend I had this together. I was driving to an autocross event, and horrible downpour, and I found out two things. If you're ever pulling an engine or a car out of, you know, will it start type of situation, out of a barn or whatever, first thing you need to look into is how is your windshield wipers. They were as hard as a rock, and in fact you can see the damage that it caused to the window right here, the windshield. And they can polish these out. I'm hoping that there's a place I know that should be able to polish this glass and repair the two rock in there, because this is actually an original glass, and I kind of want to keep it original. So yeah, replace your windshield wipers before you go anywhere. The other thing I learned was, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, don't bypass your heater coolant or your heater core, because if it starts to, your window starts to fog, you can't defog it. So we're not deleting these. This isn't like, I would like to take it to tracks and stuff like that, but it's not a race car. It's going to be a driver and like race car kind of concept. So anyways, keeping that, I think I already said these can now get deleted because that comes through here. And then back from your EGR, again, we deleted the EGR. There's a coolant line that goes right to here. I still need to put the clamps on it. I just don't have any small enough clamps right now. I got to go and pick them up. So yeah, again, EGR comes down to your one manifold. I still $1,300, and it had like the world's large. Look at these things. These are like the most obnoxious looking freaking things I've ever seen. Again, I don't know if I would ever spend $1,300 for a set of manifolds or headers, but someone did. So yeah, great progress on the car itself. Again, I'm going to be one of your guys' comments from today's video will be in the section down below. And today's question actually goes back to originality. Now, I have spent a lot of time cleaning this car out. I still need to leave that open because that's where the ECU will end up, and I still need to mess with the plugs and stuff like that. So most of the dashboard will work. Now this has a manual wire driven or cable, not really through the ECR or ECU for the speed controller. Unfortunately, it is broken, so we do need to get one. But we need to do a few things so we can actually see our RPMs, the coolant, temperature, oil, pressure, stuff like that. We need to move some of the pins from the ECU from the 1UZ over. Also, I did replace the steering wheel with a quick release. Now, to be completely honest with you guys, I didn't do it for looks. I did it because I had this. It came off of the SC400, and the steering wheel that was in this car was very, very rough. And in fact, it was very rough. So yeah, now we have a quick release steering wheel because I don't know. Why not? It looked a lot cleaner than what was here, and I love the ratty muscle car, but this car right here, we're going for a pretty clean install. We do need to pull this off because when I was driving this a long time ago, I had an issue with whenever I tried using the window, it would trip one of the relays, so, or little breaker things inside over there. So we need to find where this is getting a short. Other than that, guys, it could also be in that door too. It's probably in that door, and the reason why I say it was probably in that door is because the inside of that door got wet. Not rotted out, and the doors are in phenomenal shape. But anyways, question for today. Obviously, right here, this is all apart because the manual transmission comes up through here. While we have this off, you can see that Kenwood radio right there, which has the "Don't Steal Me" feature, which I don't know why you'd steal that piece of junk anyways. We have this guy right here. I put this in a long time ago because I wanted to listen to CDs. Now I don't really care. I'm gonna listen to the sound of the engine because it's a V8 and V8 sound better. Yeah, question for the day is, should I go ahead and upgrade that with a Bluetooth one so I can, I don't know, maybe use my phone or something? Or should we go OG and put the old tape deck back in. This one's in fairly good shape. It works great, at least did when I pulled it out. But I think it'd be cool to kind of embrace the old technology. What do you guys think? That's the question for today. Should we reinstall the original tape deck into the old Supra? All right. That's all I have for you guys today. Real quick video update. If you want to see how I clean the cars, I will have the little link in the description down below, as well as when I was saying it before in the little above. Otherwise, remember, next week I will be featuring another one of your guys' comments. And I appreciate you all very much for just an awesome time that I've been able to have because of you guys. So remember, if you like the content and you want to help support the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. If you're looking to grab our t-shirts, we have in the comment section down below, as well as the landing shelf underneath. You can go and order some of the merch. All of the proceeds of that go right back to these cars. And I know in the spring we are going to go ahead and switch out the old 318 out of here and put a 440. We'll save the 318 for another project down the road, but I really want this thing to have a big block. I am to the point where I want to have this to have a big block. Before we do that though, I'm going to probably in the spring, I want to take a couple cars out to Lebanon Valley Speedway. We'll see if I can't get another buddy to run it. But another question for the comment section down below. What do you think will be faster? Down a quarter mile, the satellite, and we'll do it in the spring, because at that point I need to do it before I switched out to a 440. I want to see what the times are out of the satellite. What do you think will be faster, the satellite or the 89 Supra? Also, another question for you guys. What do you think about the wheel choice? Do you like the silver on black, black on silver kind of combination, or should the wheels be black? A lot of questions for you guys today. A lot of questions. Also, last one was the people involved. Were the people involved to come up with and the seat needs to come back for me to properly sit in here. But the people involved in the design of this vehicle and said, hey, you need a back seat. Were they really just evil people? Because that's the kind of footroom you're expecting with this car. All right, that's all I have for you today, and that is bright. You guys have yourselves a beautiful day. Remember, hit that subscribe button. We will be back onto the, we'll probably do some welding on the GS this week, because we are kind of incognito for parts on this guy, that guy. So we'll be probably working on the GS this week. Other than that, guys, you have yourselves a wonderful day. Remember, keep her shiny side up, and God bless. Bright sun.